Have you been considering buying some outdoor power equipment at Harbor Freight? I mean, Harbor Freight's a great choice when it comes to all sorts of stuff. Hand tools, power tools, accessories, trailers, miter saws, all sorts of great stuff. But outdoor power equipment, are they the best choice? Well, let's take a look at it, and we're going to cover all the stuff that they carry and why it may or may not be a good choice for you. Now, Harbor Freight's got 3 different brands when it comes to outdoor power equipment. They like to do their good, better, best. And at the good level is the Mower brand. Now, they have 18 items listed, although this is their 6-tool combo kit that's a drill and everything else, not really outdoor power equipment. We got some batteries, which, by the way, go up to 12 amp hours, which when you're looking at outdoor power equipment, that could be something you might want to consider. Now, the first thing they have here is they have a nice little bundle kit here with the blower. And we've got the pole saw over here. We got the chainsaw, the Mr. Fogger kind of thing here. We get the mini chainsaw. We got a dual charger, string trimmer, hedger, the blower on its own. They even have this, I don't want to call it a pressure washer, power cleaner is what they call it. And then they have the cordless shear shrubber kind of tool here. Now, oftentimes I've said, hey, you might not want to share your power tool batteries with your outdoor power equipment because, batteries only have a limited lifetime, how many times you can recharge it and reuse it. Do you want to be using those for your yard? Because you don't want to be plugging them into your power tool and then be like, I got nothing, all right? But at 20 volts, that's really going to be small yard kind of situations. And I'm talking like on the smaller side. Now, the average yard in the United States is less than a quarter acre, and we're talking even smaller than that. But for that person, could be not a bad choice, all right? Let me tell you about some of the stuff I have that Harbor Freight has sent me or I've purchased over the years, and let me talk about why it's good or not a good choice. Now, the first thing we're going to talk about is the blower. Now, they sent me this a while back. I've had this for years. It's the 20 volt cordless blower, 96 mile per hour, 338 CFM. That is not a high-speed blower, okay? And don't think that this is. But this is for like dry leaves, grass clippings, blow drying the dog, dusting off the car and stuff. It gets the pollen off the car real nice. I will say this about this. 338 is on the lower end, all right? And we talk about this all the time. But again, for the dry leaves, grass clippings, general cleanup, not bad. Now, it has a reducer nozzle right here. Let me pull this up a little bit. This reducer nozzle is it's pretty much necessary on this blower. Now, if you're blow drying your car, I would say take it off because you want more general airflow than you want that hard kind of pressure. But if you're doing like leaves and stuff like that, you put that reducer nozzle on there, and it really does help with the force concentration of the blast coming out of the thing. It really makes it feel like it's a step up in power. So I do recommend it. I think for blowing out the shop, getting rid of sawdust, dusting things off, it's a great one. If you got heavy, wet leaves, you're going to need to get something in a 40, 56, 60, 80 volt kind of blower. This one's just not going to cut it. But again, for that small use case, light use case, it's a decent little blower. We use it all the time. The same thing is basically what I'm going to say about their string trimmer. This is a 20 volt cordless string trimmer, tool only. It's coming in at $55. It's got good balance. It's light. It's easy to use. My cubs can use it. I can use it. The wife can use it. Everyone can use it. And one of the features I absolutely love on it is it's got the little wheels here. So you can flip this on its side and use it as an edger. So now it's 2 tools in one. And honestly, it does work. It does a great job. Nice little cleanup. You got the basic string trimmer there that does what it's supposed to do. I've been very pleased with this trimmer, and at $55, and that's not on sale. Remember, we always try to shop for when things are on sale, right? Always got to use that coupon. But that said, at $55, I'm pretty happy with it, again, for light duty use. Now, here's one I'm going to say you probably might want to pass on. And I'm not saying that because it's a bad tool, but here it is. I've got this, and Harbor Freight sent it to me. For $85, you can get their chainsaw. It's a decent little chainsaw. Little being the appropriate word here. Now, I do like it. It has its own built-in oil reservoir, but you're not like just pouring oil on the chain like you will with some mini chainsaws. But this isn't much bigger. It is a 10-inch chainsaw. For those of you who don't know, that's a fairly small chainsaw, okay? 18 is what we consider once you're getting into like the full-size chainsaws. Usually 12 to 16 is your around-the-house backyard kind of chainsaw. At 10 inch, this is more of a pruning saw than anything else. And here's the reason I'm going to say to skip this. Because at $85 for a 10 inch, for $90, you can get the pole saw. Now, it's only an 8 inch, but I've never used this and been like, wow, I'm going to go get the 10 inch chainsaw because this one just won't cut it. Anyway, the fact is, we almost never use the 10-inch chainsaw because whether it's pruning, we got box elder trees around our house. They grow like weeds. We're constantly pruning those things back, or other little volunteer plants that grow up here and there. We're cutting them down. The chainsaw, or the pruning saw, has been, I should say pole saw, has been fantastic. My wife loves to use it. I like to use it. The kids have used it. It's got a built-in oil reservoir. And at 8 inch, I've even used it to cut firewood because, anything bigger and I'm going to get a serious chainsaw. That 10 inch, I just haven't felt a need for it. And at $90, not on sale, of course, you're going to wait for the coupon. I think this is a great deal right there. I've had lots of pole saws from just different companies. This is the one that we still use, all right? Next up, we got the Hedge Trimmer, $55. This is a no bells and whistles, basic kind of hedge trimmer. I think, let me see if I can get the size on this, 20-inch blade on it. It does what it needs to do. It will prune nice little hedges here for you. I'll be honest, we don't use it anymore because, well, when we lived in Las Vegas, we have hedges. Guess what we don't have here in Montana? We don't have any hedges, so this is something we just don't use. I don't have any problem with it. There's no frills or bells or whistles on it. It just does what it's supposed to do at $55. If you got hedges, I think it'll do a good job for you. I don't think you'll have a problem with it. All right, now this one is something that Harbor Freight just sent me. I haven't had a chance to use it. I just unboxed it, and I'm super excited about this. This is their 20-volt cordless portable power cleaner. Don't call it a pressure washer. This uses the standard Bauer 20-volt battery. It's $50 for this. And one of the nice things is, well, look at this. First of all, it's got the enclosure that keeps the battery nice and safe and watertight, so you don't have to worry about the battery getting wet. On the end, it's got this 5-direction nozzle, so you can change to all these different spray nozzles, everything from a tight beam to a broad rinse and everything in between. But if you want to go to a specialty nozzle, it has the standard quick release, so you can just pop it off and put on anything else you want. Here's the other thing. It comes with, you can hook up a garden hose to it, but it comes with a siphon kit that can be used either in a bucket, so you can plug it into a bucket, or you can put a 2-liter on this and take the water with you and just rinse off whatever it is you need to do. And I think that's fantastic. We're going to be putting this to work this weekend on some projects. We'll post a video once it's done, so let you know what you think of it. But at $50, again, tool only, it seems like a pretty good deal. I haven't had a chance to use it yet, but it seems like a pretty good deal. Here's where Bauer really, let's talk about the really negative things about Bauer. That's pretty much, we've talked about all the tools that they have. If you need something beyond that, you're out of luck. You have to share your hand tool power batteries there. But again, it's nice they have a 12 amp hour battery. The batteries are cheap enough. There's always seems to be a sale on batteries. But there is one thing where it really, really they just kind of let us all down. There's no mower. I don't know what is going on, but at Harbor Freight, I get emails all the time from people who are in the Bauer lineup going, we want a Bauer mower. Now, we're about to do a video with Lowe's, and a lot of people like to make fun of the micro mowers, as I like to call them. That's the sub 20 inch, like you're talking like 13 to 18 inch mowers that use power tool style batteries. Well, as I said, we just did a video with Lowe's with the Cobalt mower, and it's one of these small little micro mowers. But we have friends who live in town in Livingston, and they live in one of these little cottage style bungalow houses that were built post World War II, and it's just a little postage stamp size yard, but it's more yard than you want to sit there with a weed whacker going back and forth and trying to mow the whole thing. So we got them this mower, and they can do the whole yard in 15, 20 minutes, and it's super easy. And because it's so light, it can get around. They've got lots of gardens, and they've got statuary and trees and all sorts and it just whizzes right around them. And that's what I love about these smaller mowers for the people who have smaller yards but still need a mower. Harbor Freight, you got to step up on this one. All right, now let's talk about the 40 and 80 volt lines that's in the Atlas line that Harbor Freight has. Now, they have a battery system that is shared. So you can get a 40 volt or 80 volt battery. Now, this in the top of the line one, it's either a 4 amp hour 80 volt or it runs as an 8 amp hour 40 volt. Same here. We got the 2.5 in 80 or the 5 in 40. Now, they do have a dedicated 40 volt 2.5 amp hour battery. It comes at $90, then 140, 250, and then the chargers, they've got the base charger at 50 bucks, not a terrible price, and then the rapid charger at $80. Again, not a terrible price, very competitive. But let's talk about the tool. So first of all, we're going to talk about that Goldilocks zone because Harbor Freight likes to do the good, better, best. And that Goldilocks zone right in the middle, which is where you should get best bang for the buck. All right, that's the 40 volt line at Atlas. And they have an extensive line of 2 tools. Well, they have 4 tools, but 2 of them are being discontinued. The pole saw and the trimmer are both on clearance. Great prices on them, but they have a 40 volt hedge trimmer for $80, a pole saw hedge trimmer, or a handheld hedge trimmer for $58. Apparently people like their hedge trimmers, but the pole saw, they're going away. The only thing I can think is that people were just ignoring the 40 volt line and that they're going to okay, let me back up. They're either going to come out with an update for these or the 40 volt line's going to go away. And I kind of think the 40 volt line's going to go away and it's just going to be 80 volt tools because I think that people kind of skip that. They either go for the Mower or they jump all the way up to the 80 volt line. So let's take a look at that 80 volt line and see if it's worth the money. So the first thing we see here, 80 volt, and it's a full kit. You got to like that. But it's a concrete cutoff saw. Nobody saw that coming when it was released. Now, don't get me wrong. I think it is stellar that Harbor Freight has a cordless tool concrete cutoff saw. The real question is, why isn't this in the Hercules line? And I think the answer has to be that they needed an 80 volt battery and that the Hercules, it only goes up to 20 volt. And to get an 80 volt, you'd be popping in, 4 of those batteries or something. So they had to put it with the Atlas line, and of course, they're going to put it in the Atlas colors. I don't have a problem with it, but calling it an outdoor power tool, I guess it does get used outdoors, but I've used them indoors as much as I've used them outdoors, usually cutting into basement floors to redo plumbing and stuff like that. Okay, but let's move on to everything else. At least here, we've got a lawnmower. There's an 80 volt lawnmower, 21 inch, self-propelled, not a ton of bells and whistles on it. It's a decent self-propelled mower. Love the fact there's a cultivator. That is really cool. $190 on the cultivator. Then we've got their 18 inch chainsaw, nice chainsaw coming in for $150, tool only, a dedicated lawn edger, a 10 inch pole saw there coming in at $95. 16 inch string trimmer. That's a nice string trimmer. It's a good size string trimmer. It's nicely balanced. Nothing really negative to say about it. And then the blower. This is a decent upper mid blower. It's 605 CFM. It's definitely not that it's not hitting that top of line like we see from Ego or from Greenworks or some of the other ones, but it is a stronger than average. It can handle some wet leaves, that kind of stuff. Tool only for $75, not a terrible deal. But here's the problem with the Atlas line. There's 8 items if you include the concrete saw. So it gets you those core tools. The cultivator is a nice add, but it doesn't have that extensive lineup like we have from a lot of other outdoor power equipment. And on top of that, it's the traditional 90-day warranty that you see at Harbor Freight. Now with the Mower line, it's 90-day warranty also. But at that price, at $50 for a blower, $40, I can handle the 90-day warranty. And if I want to buy the extended warranty, I can. When I'm stepping up with something like this, I kind of want that extra warranty. And when I price compare, let's do an apples to apples, all right? My understanding is that these tools are made by the same company that makes the tools for Greenworks. So let's take a look. The mower, Atlas mower, 80 volt here. 21 inch self-propelled. It's a decent mower here. Let me pull it up on screen. It's $270. Well, here's the problem. Once you add a battery, 4 amp hour battery, because you're going to want the 4 amp battery, even if you add just the basic charger, you're going to be at a price of $570. Now, what about sales? Because we say you always buy when stuff is on sale, and I always recommend that people get coupons when you're shopping at Harbor Freight. That's what Harbor Freight's all about. Got to save those bucks. Well, here's a coupon, and it's a decent coupon, don't get me wrong, and that is for the mower itself, and it comes in at $240. So $240, that's a pretty good price. We'll add that into the calculator. $240 price. And then we get the battery, and it's coming in at $200. Okay, so now we're at $440, and then we add in the charger. Wow, look at that. That thing is only $25. This is giving us a price, total combo price of $465. That's going to be hard to beat. Let's see what Greenworks has right now. Well, their latest gen mower, this is up to date, all the whiz-bang features and stuff, 21-inch, 4-in-1, self-propelled, with a 4-amp-hour battery and charger, is coming in at $480. Call it what it is, $480. That is $15 more than that. I mean, how do you sit there and argue, well, you should buy the Greenworks when the Harbor Freight's coming in for $15 less? Well, here's the bad news, folks. First of all, that Greenworks has a 4-year warranty versus 90 days. That's a big problem. The bigger problem is those coupons I showed you. Let's go back and take a look at them and pay some more attention. All right, this coupon right here, $414.25 is when it came out. That's a pretty decent price, but again, that came out last month, about a month ago, all right? The coupon for the battery was part of the January sales event. That was on 1/26, and the coupon for the charger, well, that was in March. So we have a January, a March, and an April coupon. That means to get that price, you would have to start buying in January, skip February, then you buy the battery in March, and then you buy the charger in March, and you buy the tool in April. You got to wait 4 months, piecemealing it together. Don't make sure you don't skip that coupon to save $15, but give up that 4-year warranty. This is the thing I've always said about the Atlas stuff. It needs to have more combos. It needs to have more sales. And I don't have a problem with not having the warranty, with buying the warranty separately, but the sales then need to be commensurate to that pricing, considering that from Greenworks, which as I understand it, and correct me, and maybe Harbor Freight will correct me if I'm wrong, but it's coming from the same manufacturer and I get a 4-year warranty. Now, granted, I can't go into the store just to like, here's my tool, fix it, replace it, do whatever, which we love from Harbor Freight, which is why we talk about Harbor Freight all the time, that over-the-counter warranty. They're doing what Sears used to be, and we all love that. But at that kind of price with a 4-year warranty, if it was my money, I would probably buy the Greenworks, or maybe step up and buy the Ego. Let me know what you think down below. I think that at the end of the day, for the small lawn around the house kind of thing, I think Mower's just fine. We just really want that mower. But for the Atlas stuff, I don't know. I just can't bring myself to recommend it. Let me tell me what you think down below. And if you like what we do here, go ahead and chomp the old like button, smash the subscribe, ring the bell on the way out. You all take care. God bless. And as always, shine on.